Section 1 of Selected Poems. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information, or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Selected Poems by José Asunción Silva. Nocturne, read by Newgatenovelist. One night filled with murmurs and perfumes and the music of wings. One night, when fantastic fireflies blazed in the moist nuptial shadows by my side slowly, clasped to me, pale and silent, as if a presentiment of infinite bitterness agitated the most secret depths of your heart. Over the blossomy path through the meadow you wandered, and the full moon scattered white light over bluish skies, boundless and deep. And your shadow, frail and languid, and my shadow, by the rays of the moon projected over the gloomy sand, joined together and were one, and were one, and were one, and were one long shadow, and were one long shadow, and were one long shadow. Tonight, alone, my soul, filled with infinite bitterness and pain of your death, separated from you by time and space and the tomb, by the black infinity whither the voice cannot reach. Silent and alone, I wandered along the path, and I heard the dogs baying the moon, the pallid moon, and the chirrup of frogs. I was cold, with the cold of your cheek and your brow and your beloved hands, among the white snows of your shroud. It was the cold of the sepulchre, the ice of death, the chill of nothingness. And my shadow, by the rays of the moon projected, went alone, went alone, went alone over the lonely plain. And your shadow, quick and slender, frail and languid, as in that warm night of vanished spring, as in that night, filled with murmurs and perfumes and the music of wings, came close and walked with mine, came close and walked with mine, came close and walked with mine. Oh, the shadows knit together. Oh, shadows of the body joined with shadows of the soul. Oh, shadows which seek one another in nights of sorrow and tears. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Nocturne by José Asunción Silva. Read for LibriVox.org by Newgatenovelist. It was night-time lonely. It was night-time filled with murmurings of sweetness, with faint perfumes, and the music dim of birds' wings. It was night-time, and the darkness hymeneal, deep and dewy, shone fantastical with fireflies. By my side then, slowly, slowly, by my side then, silent, pallid, as if to you there came knowledge of a future, dark and bitter, troubling, hidden, secret, soul depths, and the fibres of your being. By my side along the pathway of the flowers, across the pale plain, you were walking, and the full moon then upswinging through the sweet sky's serene azure, shed upon us its white light, and your shadow, graceful, languid, and my shadow, from the moon's pale light out floating, on the sand plain sad and lonely, where the path wound, were united and made one there, were united in one lone and sombre shadow, were united in one lone and sombre shadow, were united in one lone and sombre shadow. It was night-time lonely, and my heart held naught save memory of your death and agony, separated now forever, separated by time from you, by space, by the tomb forever, and by shadows black and blacker where my voice can never reach you. Silent, dumb, sad and alone by the pathway I was walking. At the lone moon dogs were baying, at the moon so sad and lone, I heard harsh and ghostly croaking of the frogs beneath the moon. I felt chilly, and the chill was that which held you in your chamber, held in your white ghostly chamber, hands and breasts and cheeks I loved, held between the snowy marble of the pale dim plain of death. 'Twas the chill of things sepulchral, 'twas the ancient chill of death, 'twas the chill of nothingness, and my shadow, from the moon's pale light out floating, walked there lonely, lonely walked the pale plain o'er, and your shadow grown more lovely, graceful, languid, as upon that night of springtime, fleeting spring of long ago, has that night time filled with murmurings of sweetness, with faint perfumes, and the music dim of birds' wings, reached my shadow and swept with it, reached my shadow and swept with it, reached my shadow and swept with it. Oh, twin shadows interlacing! Oh, the interlacing shadows of twin bodies reuniting with the shadows of their souls! Oh, those interlacing shadows which are seeking, still are seeking, through all night times on forever, for each other in their tears. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Disease of the Century by José Asunción Silva. Read for LibriVox.org by Newgatenovelist. The Patient. Doctor, a discouragement of life, which is in my intimate self rooted and born, the disease of the century, that same disease of Werther, of Rolla, of Manfred, and of Leopardi, a weariness with all things, an absolute contempt for the human, an incessant revolt at the vileness of existence, worthy of my master Schopenhauer, a profound unrest which grows with all the tortures of analysis. The Doctor. This is a matter of regimen. Walk in the early morning, sleep long, take baths, drink well, eat well, take good care of yourself. The thing that ails you is hunger. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Serenata by José Asunción Silva. Read for LibriVox.org by Newgatenovelist. The street is lonely, the night is chill, the moon is out with her clouds surrounding, the lofty lattice is barred and still, and the trembling notes are sounding, sounding, to the firm light touch of fingers strong, while a voice pours tender words afar, and the woes of the fragile strings prolong from the guitar. The street is lonely, the night is chill, the heavy clouds o'er the moon are bounding, The lattice high is unopened still, and the notes are fainter, fainter sounding. Yet perchance the serenade has sought some maiden ear that loves and pines, but fails as the bird notes lightly caught where the swallow's nest in the springtime twines. The street is lonely, the night is chill, clear in heaven is the full moon shining. The lofty lattice has opened its sill, and one by one are the notes declining. The singer with fingers firm and light climbs up to the old-time window bar, and a sighing breathes from the bosom slight of the guitar. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. A poem by José Asunción Silva, read for LibriVox.org by Newgatenovelist. I planned one time to perpetrate a song, one of the new kind, pulsing, free and strong. I balanced subjects tragic and grotesque, conjuring all the rhythms unto my desk. And then the skittish meters gathered round, joining in shadowy swing and leap and bound. Meters sonorous, meters potent, grave, some with the shock of arms, some bird songs brave. From east and west, from south as well as north, meters and stanzas bowing hurried forth. Chafing their golden bridles, loose of rein, approach the tercets, as if coursers vain. And opening up amid the gallant ring, purple and gold, arrived the sonnet king. And all began to sing. Among the rabble there rose the spirit of a charming gabble. One pointed strophe wakened my desire with the clear tinkling of a little spire. So above all I chose it for the bride, adding my crystal, silver rhymes beside. And thus I told a tale, with subtle grace, a tragical, fantastic, never base, though sad enough, a story straight and terse, of a fair lady loved and in her hearse. And to sustain the mournful note I added soft lisps with ex-professo kisses padded. I decked the phrase with gold, and music rare of lute and mandolin was sounded there. I drew the light of distances profound with solemn mists and melancholies bound, and mid the dim obscure, as in a feast of mortals, dancers to the dance released, clothed them in words that cloud like heavy veils, with midnight masks of satin, velvet trails, and in the background intertwining wound the mystical and fleshly, as if bound. Then in my author's pride I added there heliotrope scent and light of jacinth rare, and brought the poem to a critic grand, who sent it back I fail to understand. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Nocturne by José Asunción Silva, read for LibriVox.org by Newgatenovelist. One night, all full of murmurs, of perfumes and the brush of wings, within whose mellow nuptial glooms there shone fantastic fireflies, meekly at my side, slender, hushed and pale, as though with infinite presentiment of woe, your very depths of being were troubled. By the path of flowers that led across the plain, you came treading, and the rounded moon, through heaven's blue and infinite profound, was shedding whiteness. And your shadow, languid, delicate, and my shadow, sketched by the white moonlight's ray upon the solemn sands of the path, were joined together, as one together, as one together, as one together in a great single shadow, as one together in a great single shadow, as one together in a great single shadow. Another night, alone, all my soul, suffused with infinite woes and agonies of death, parted from you, by time, by the tomb and estrangement, by the infinite gloom through which our voices fail to pierce. Silent and lonely along that road I journeyed, and the dogs were heard barking at the moon, at the pale-faced moon, and the croaking of the frogs. I was pierced with cold, such cold as on your bed came over your cheeks, your breasts, your adorable hands, between the snowy whiteness of your mortuary sheets. It was the cold of the sepulchre, the chill of death, the frost of nothingness. And my shadow, sketched by the white moonlight's ray, went on alone, went on alone, went on alone over the solitary wastes, and your shadow, slender and light, languid, delicate, as on that soft night of your springtime death, as on that night filled with murmurs, with perfumes and the brush of wings, came near and walked with me, came near and walked with me, came near and walked with me, oh, shadows interlaced, oh, shadows of the bodies joining in shadow of the souls, oh, shadows running each to each in the nights of woes and tears. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Serenade by José Asunción Silva. Read for LibriVox.org by Newgatenovelist. The street is deserted, the night is cold, the moon glides veiled amid cloud banks dun, the lattice above is tightly closed, and the notes ring clearly one by one, under his fingers light and strong, while the voice that sings tells tender things, as the player strikes on his sweet guitar the fragile strings. The street is deserted, the night is cold, a cloud has covered the moon from sight, the lattice above is tightly closed, and the notes are growing more soft and light. Perhaps the sound of the serenade seeks the soul of the girl who loves and waits, as the swallows seek eaves to build their nests when they come in spring with their gentle mates. The street is deserted, the night is cold, the moon shines out from the clouds aloft. The lattice above is opened now, and the notes are growing more low, more soft. The singer with fingers light and strong clings to the ancient window's bar, and a moan is breathed from the fragile strings of the sweet guitar. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Question Mark by José Asunción Silva. Read for LibriVox.org by Newgatenovelist. Stars that in the shadowy darkness of the vast and the unknown seem like pallid drifts of incense through the empty spaces blown. Nebulae so distant burning in the awful infinite, that by the reflection only of your light the earth is lit. Stars that in unknown abysses with vague brightness overflow, constellations that the Magi worshipped long and long ago. Far off worlds in millions, blossoms of fantastic flowers and bright, shining isles in the unsounded, shoreless oceans of the night. Stars, ye thoughtful pensive splendours, eyes that flickering glory shed. If ye live, why are ye silent? Wherefore shine, if ye be dead? End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. And end of Selected Poems by José Asunción Silva. Thank you for listening.